Hey guys, my name is Iasmina and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do another introductory tag video, and that is the BookTube Newbie Tag. So I've already done the AuthorTube Newbie Tag, and as I mentioned in that video, I also want to make BookTube related content, and so I thought it was a good idea to also introduce myself to the BookTube community, so this is what I'm doing. So this tag was originally created by Brenda C, whose channel I will link down below. So question number 1 is, why did you start this channel? Well, I've actually had this channel for about 10 years now, and I've been making videos for those 10 years. I decided to rebrand and refocus my channel around books and writing, and so I'll answer this in that sense. Basically, I love talking to anyone who will bear to listen to me about books and about my writing, and I've been watching BookTube content for a little over 6 years now here on YouTube, and I always felt like the community was so wonderful, and that type of smallish community where people know each other and people talk to each other, and I miss that. When I first started making videos back in 2008, 2009, you still had that sense of small communities. You had these circles and you had collab channels, and you really felt that sense of community. As YouTube got bigger and bigger and more people started making videos, I feel like that sense of community, at least for smaller channels, at least for small vlog channels like mine used to be, disappeared. And I really miss that. I think that's the aspect that made YouTube so brilliant, and I hope that I'm able to find that again through the BookTube and AuthorTube community. And also, it's worth mentioning to say that I've received so many wonderful book recommendations from BookTube content on YouTube, and I feel like I want to give back a little, so I want to introduce new people to these books and to new books, and I want to get more people reading. Question number 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? First of all, I am also a writer outside of being an avid reader, and I sometimes read books in a more critical way because of that. I try to analyze, what makes this book a good book, what makes this story a story well told, or if it's a book I'm not enjoying, why am I not enjoying it? So that I can then analyze these things and apply them to my own writing. So I think in that sense, I might bring a interesting angle to book reviews. Other interesting things about me, maybe I am Romanian. I've been living in Denmark for the past 5 years, so take from that what you will. Question number 3 is, what are you most excited about this new channel? The best thing to me is to be able to talk to other book lovers about books. I don't know a lot of people in my real life who read as much as I do. I mostly find myself going online and watching other people talk about these books at me, instead of kind of with me. But I think there's great value in that, and I feel like you can connect to random people in their bedrooms talking about their favorite books who might or might not be your favorite books. But of course, sometimes you need a more personal connection than that, so I'm hoping to, again, meet people through this and maybe get that. Question number 4, why do you love reading? Oh boy, I definitely think I'm not alone in the reason I love reading. Basically to escape reality. It's a form of entertainment that goes, I think, deeper than that. Just simply to be able to live through someone else's eyes, to live someone else's reality, even just for 300 pages, I think is such a fantastic and valuable thing. Even if that reality is not necessarily a pleasant one, especially if that reality isn't a pleasant one, because we can definitely get used to our own realities and forget that the world is much broader than that and it's more diverse than that. But alongside that, reading books helps me relax, it helps me de-stress after a working day. They teach me new things, they make me laugh. They open my mind to important topics that I might have been otherwise ignorant of. Question number 5, what book series got you into reading? I don't think I'm surprising anyone with this, but yes, it is Harry Potter. Look, I will never shut up about how much I love this series, because I think it's such an important thing to make kids fall in love with reading, and Harry Potter time and time again, at least for my generation and for the next generation, has done that and continues to do that, and for that reason alone, I will never shut up about it. Not only that, but again, it made me discover my own love for storytelling. It's the reason why I started writing as well as reading. So I can literally go on and on about how much this series means to me, but I won't, because I know in this case my experience is not unique, which is fantastic. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? How can you read more than one book at the same time? This is the one thing I struggle with. I like to think I read quite a fair amount, but I can only really focus on one type of story at a time. The only thing that kind of works for me is reading multiple books on multiple platforms or mediums. So by that I mean one physical book, one Kindle book, one audiobook, kind of going at the same time, because then I don't really have an excuse if I'm out and about or if I'm doing something else. I can still read. But I do find myself, forgetting to listen to audiobooks. When I commute, I mainly listen to music. Same with Kindle, I don't really bring it along with me that much unless I'm traveling. But even then I could technically still read from the Kindle app on my phone. But I don't. I will always prefer physical books, and I'll always prefer just reading one book at a time. I feel that otherwise I would lose interest in at least one of the books I'm reading, or I will always favor one of them, and then the rest of them will just stack up on my nightstand and look sad that I'm ignoring them. But yes, I think if I would be able to do this, if I would be able to read multiple books at once, I would go through my TBR a lot quicker, and I would be able to generally consume a lot more books. But it just has not worked for me so far. Question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? The only thing I can really think about as an answer for this is always feeling a bit inadequate, in the sense of always feeling like I'm not reading fast enough, or I'm not reading the newest books, or I'm not reading the right books to kind of, compete with more popular BookTube channels. And I'm also quite a slow reader. In average, I would say I'd read about 50 pages a day, but sometimes it can go a lot less than that. The one thing that I really hate is the knowledge that I will never be able to read all of the books, not even all of the books in the world that exist, but all of the books that I want to read. It's just not possible. There is not enough time. I have on my Goodreads TBR, so my books to read on Goodreads, I think I have about 950 books, and I know even those I will never get to, because there will always be newer books, right, that I'll be more interested in. And even that number is just a staggering number, and with the speed and all the other things that I have to do in my life, I don't think I'll ever get to all of them, and that makes me incredibly sad. Question number 8. When did you start reading? I definitely read a few books prior to discovering Harry Potter, but those were books I had to read for school, and I remember not enjoying them, and I don't really think I should count that, because again, it's something I had to do for school, and I remember I was one of those annoying kids, ironically, who thought that reading was boring, and it was such a waste of time. Remember, I was about 6 or 7 at this point, right? So I think I started reading Harry Potter when I was around 11, I think, because I remember I was really sad, because I knew in my head that I was too old to receive the Hogwarts acceptance letter. But that never stopped me from believing it might still happen, that they somehow misplaced it, or it's not actually, you don't actually necessarily have to be 11, you can be a wizard at any age. And after that, I went from not reading at all to devouring books in a very short time span. So, question number 9, where do you read? As in, location-wise. I mostly read at home, either in my bed before going to sleep, or at my desk in the other room. But I mostly read at home. I tend to get motion sickness if I read for too long, like on the bus. But then at the same time, I do always carry a book around with me, either in physical form or, of course, on the Kindle app on my phone, so that if I do find the time or the situation, if I'm waiting at the doctor's or something, I can always read. There's no excuse for me not to read. And the final question, what kind of books do you like to read? I will probably do a bookshelf tour at some point, but I don't know how well you can see the stuff behind me. But mostly I read fantasy, whether young adult or adult. I read both. I love both. And then I read a lot of YA contemporary books. I also read a lot of science fiction. And recently I've started reading a lot more literary fiction. which I'm also enjoying a lot right now. A little bit of thrillers and crime novels, although definitely less of those. Oh, I also read a lot of nonfiction, mostly about like writing craft or just like interesting subjects, but again, I read less of that than I read fiction. As a writer, you should read broadly, you should read everything, and I try to do that, of course, if I find something that's interesting, but in general I tend to gravitate towards these specific genres. But that's it. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and for anyone new watching this, hi, nice to meet you. I hope you stick around and subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every Monday, and they will either be writing related videos or booktube related videos. So I hope to see you then. Bye!